But behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Beatrix.
Oh, that's right, Beatrix. Oh, my sister just had a child named Beatrix.
Oh, how funny.
With a Z at the end, Beatrix.
Oh, Beatrice.
Yeah.
Yeah, hers is Beatrix with an X.
Oh, ooh, I love that. So yeah, she's a little baby, like brand new baby that she just had. And what's your name?
Andrea.
Andrea. So, are you Latina?
I'm mixed, but my nickname is Mercury.
Oh.
I go by Mercury Vamp, yeah.
Oh, this is more interesting but a second. So are you a performer of some kind?
I've done acting and I do modeling as well. I like to do a lot of vampire fantasy, cosplay, those types of things.
Interesting.
Out of the box.
So, okay, so do you do that on camera or do you do that like privately?
Both.
Okay, good. So that's kind of cool. So we had a dominatrix in here a few weeks ago who was hilarious. She was great, you know. She was like Buddy Boop looking and sitting on the couch. And sometimes when I have time, I go around and say, tell me about yourself. And she was, oh, I'm a dominatrix, right in the middle of the room. And it was like, and she makes a fortune, a freaking fortune. And she goes, I just give men pain. So with you, a vampire would be a little different, right? Tell me about that.
Well, I have fangs that I wear, that they're custom made.
No way.
Yeah, so I'll wear them out or I'll wear them for certain shoots.
Do you do private stuff? Like somebody who's got kind of a vampire fetish? Bless you.
I mean, I guess personally sometimes, but, but that's still private, right?
That's so funny, man. And then, have you booked stuff? You know, like, if you booked gigs and shows as a
I've done some pilots. I've also come out in a few as a feature for certain small films.
Wow.
Nothing big. I have come out in a Calvin Harris music video, but I was an extra. But I did have screen time. I'm 1 minute in on the teal truck. I'm the redhead, and you could actually see me.
That's awesome. Hey, by the way, where's your sheet you filled out?
Oh, it's my purse.
Okay, good. Yeah. Mom, so you like vampire stuff too? Yeah? I love it. Okay, and then we have, you got 5,000 followers. That's good. And I've been freelance modeling and acting
Since 2011.
Good for you.
Yeah, I've always wanted to act since I was a child. When I was little, an agent found me. She said that they worked with a lot of Disney and Nickelodeon stars. My grandparents raised me. They told me that when I was 18, I could do whatever I wanted, but they didn't want to get scammed. And they knew what it was like in that business, and they didn't want to put me through it. So the second I turned 18, I started finding whatever I could. And by then, I wasn't the height requirement.
Right, for traditional modeling, yeah. Of course, that game is changing now. I mean, there's still you have to be 5'9" thing for certain brands.
Yeah, I'm not 5'9".
But there's so much more money now because, you know.
Social media.
Yeah. And just in working with brands, you know, like, they don't all need 5'10" people, you know. They actually would rather have someone with influence, so it's cool. So that game's back on. You know, agencies like Ashton are great, and they do book, but there's so much more money in the other areas now. Before it was always you had to measure people. But the agency had to measure you. And we would know right then if we could sign you. I thought that was kind of crazy, but it was that. Because Cameron Diaz was with the lead, right? When she was young, and she was only 5'7". But that's because she was a kid with Elite and grew up and they kept her.
Yeah. They're not going to know how tall you are. Yeah. They're just going to think, oh, you're cute, we can sell you.
She was tall as a 12-year-old, but then she didn't grow anymore. But then she kept booking. So it was like funny to me. Like she was their top booker. Cameron Diaz was the top booker at Elite for 3 years when she was there. And she was the shortest girl on their board, you know? So I think sometimes they're a little short-sighted. Okay, so what else? Are you working? Are you doing some other work? What are you doing?
I'm a teacher's assistant at an elementary school.
Fantastic.
I don't know if I could publicly say it because you're recording.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But I work for LUSD.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, although I am just debating leaving and just following what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. You know, the problem with the entertainment business, as I know you know, is it's just getting consistent in terms of work. I mean, maybe for extras you can.
Yeah, it just, there's a lot of reasons it just conflicts with everything.
You're right, I got you. You like kids though, huh?
Well, they've always liked me, so.
That was a great answer. That was a nice slippery answer right out of it. Oh, my stupid costume.
At least I could joke around and they'll just laugh about it.
Yeah, would you ever come in costume? That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, for work I went as Annabelle last year.
You did? Hey, can you do me a favor and type it in for me? Because I can't see the phone.
Yeah, they remember all my costumes. They were like, weren't you Alice in Wonderland a few years ago?
That's so great. Can you see? Yeah, it's so bad today in this place. Okay, so so in terms of how we can help you, what do you think we can do to help you? I mean, what do you need? Let me ask you that. Because you came in, obviously you have, some of these kids aren't in the business at all, but you are. So are you looking to push your social media?
Yeah, like I have content. I mean, I do a lot of collaborative work. I network a lot. The issue is just getting it to actually go off the ground. I have a website. It's very minimal right now. I haven't posted much, but I have a website. You know, I've done a few things, but it's just I haven't really gotten my foot in the door.
Got it. Quentin Tarantino, huh? I love it.
That's where her name's from.
Oh, is that right?
Beatrix Kiddo. She has an Instagram. It's Beatrix Liv Kiddo. It's her middle name, Liv.
That's adorable. I love that look. So you have the dark hair, now you have the...
Oh, that's a wig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have wigs. So I also do a lot of cosplay.
You do, yeah. Cosplay, I gotta tell you, I don't know what that means. That's good.
Oh, that's when people just like dress up in costumes and they do characters. So it could be like Disney, film, cartoons, anime.
And as I can see, she's already doing that. So were you like her when you were always costumed up when you were a kid?
I wasn't kind of allowed to because my grandparents were Jehovah's Witnesses, so they didn't celebrate holidays or birthdays. But like my favorite was always Halloween and dressing up. I was the kid in high school who would use my eBay money and buy costumes I could change in the bathroom while there's other girls who are changing into slutty clothes during normal school hours. I'm there trying to do normal things.
So you must have been picked on a little bit. I mean, or were you? Or you were popular?
In elementary school, I was like the teacher's pet. So they did kind of pick on me for that, but they didn't really. I try to like I was always the one making friends in different groups. Like, even if somebody was mean to somebody, I was their friend. I didn't understand. I was the one there for them. I've always just been kind. In middle school, I was more of the odd one out, but I still had like a lot of like anime freak friends or like gothic friends, or you know, we went through like our J-rock phase. So like, you know, I was a little strange, but I never saw myself as that. I just like, I was myself. I got kicked out of school in middle school because I didn't want to start wearing a uniform. Because all of a sudden in 7th grade, they wanted us to have uniforms. And I heard you could just make an exception if you're low income. So I went to speak to the principal. She had a bad day. And then I somehow ended up getting expelled because I was like the goth kid. So I would always wear like red eyeshadow when it was winged, and I would wear black. And then she just didn't like me that day, and she got rid of me. My family was outraged. They went to the district. They took me back. So like everyone was like, "Why were you suspended for a few days?" And I was like, "No, I was expelled." And and after that, like the principal was just trying to find reasons to like get at me, and so she put me like in a therapist, and the therapist would just like talk to me and ask me questions, and basically she was just seeing that something was wrong with me because I was wearing black. It's just the color. It was a face.
Isn't this whole thing kind of anti-establishment with you a little bit?
Yeah.
So maybe that makes sense that you would have that issue with authority.
I don't consider it that because I respect authority, but the issue is that when they don't respect me back, why should I respect them?
And by the way, I think it's cool. Just so you know, I wasn't giving you any shit, but you can smack me for that, kid. But you know, entrepreneurs are always anti-establishment. Because we don't want to follow the rules. That's all. You follow the rules, you can't make businesses. You can't do things. You have to kind of, like Steve Jobs broke the law. Period. Yeah. He was breaking the law all the time, trying to make things, and then he was dealing with that. So I respect it. That's my point.
Well, in high school even more so. Yeah, I technically didn't finish. I technically didn't finish in high school. I got a GED, and that was because of more issues. I was always late to class, and I was being driven by my mom. So she knew I was being late. She was the one dropping me off. Yep. Sometimes it's because my family makes me late. So like, I had an old lady teacher, and she just didn't like me. She thought I was ditching her class. So she wanted to take me to court, cite me for money, because they can do that. If you miss too much and they think that you're truant, they can actually just take you and get money out of you. And so my mom and my dad were like, what the hell's wrong with her? So they signed me out.
Is it because the teacher gets paid per student that shows up?
It might have been that. It was also the fact that at that school, some teachers just didn't like me because I was an odd one. This is also the school, El Rancho Dons. Recently, one of the teachers was finally cut because he was talking bad about the military and veterans and saying that they were only doing that because they had nothing better to do. So he was the one who came out in the news recently.
Yeah.
And he was actually like very harassing to other students when I was still there. And it's always the people who, didn't quite fit in that he would give backlash to. So it was the same school. And if you could see that that's how he was, a few other teachers were not that far from him.
Again, in Europe, when you get into junior high, they ask you what 4 different classes you want or curriculums you want. In other words, they allow you to create the curriculum. So like if you're an artist, you're not going to need calculus and math and geometry.
Yeah,
and you don't have to take it. And you don't have to take it. Because in Europe, especially in England, they're very much more advanced than us. Because when you put a kid into school and she don't like what she's learning, she's not going to learn. So it's like a waste of time, And the cookie cutter system we have now has got to change. So you're a good example of that. You should have been in a curriculum where you could have flourished.
Oh yeah, when I was in college, all I did was take mostly my acting classes, and I always got A's. I got very good grades, but when it came down to taking sciences and math, I was failing. I had to retake. That's the whole reason that I never actually I haven't finished my AA because I still needed all these math courses. And yet when I tested in, I was already college English. I was already college everything else but math.
You were a genius in one area and you were not in another. And so, but that area made you feel less valuable. So why the hell would you be in that area?
I'm never going to need it.
Especially when you're 16. You need to feel good about yourself. Not, I'm a loser, I'm failing. I just hate it. I just hate the fact that we do this to kids. She could have been flourishing with other kids like you. Because there are other freaks like you in the class. I mean that with love, by the way. Because freak to me is somebody who's not normal. And not normal is who makes money. And not normal is who runs things. Not normal. Normal is, if you call me nice, I don't like you. Don't call me nice. Nice is the most bland thing, right? He's nice. No, I'd rather be a bastard. I believe it or not. Because at least it's a brand. At least I have a brand, and I think you're the same way as me, so yeah, we're just not normal people. But I tried to play the game.
Oh, I've been trying to play the game. That's why, this week I wanted to quit my job so many times. I wanted to quit school already. It's not getting me anywhere. I don't need to be taking, this lab class. This is just because they're telling me I need to take it.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just ready to drop that. I'm ready to drop my work. I want to do something that's actually going to benefit me. I've been playing the book. Like they've said, my whole life, they're telling me I'm doing things backwards. I'm doing things backwards. I had my daughter at a young age. I was supposed to get married first. I was supposed to have a career. I was supposed to have all these things, and I didn't. And so I tried to play the game to pick it up. I work a normal job every day of the week. I go to school. I hustle. I balance her, and it's not enough. It's not enough, and it's not right, and I'm unhappy, and I'm constantly degraded for it and belittled and not respected for my efforts at work, even if I've stayed for free after my work just to help. The only things that have really been passionate for me for my job is actually helping the kids, because I make them think. So I really get into readers theater. Whenever I have theater projects, I'll get into it with them. I'll make them think out of the box.
Sure.
Just the other day I had to explain to a bunch of second graders what the difference was, because of Cinderella. The difference was when you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth and you're not, and how you don't know what the people want if you've never needed that. And my dad was like, what? Why are you doing this to second graders? You're going to traumatize them. But
God, your dad's hilarious. Yeah, look, it's funny how second graders process versus 10th graders process. That's why Mr. Rogers' work, he understood second graders. But you're right, sometimes the logic doesn't make sense to them because their frontal lobes aren't in. They have no logical.
I explained it to them, but
But if you tell the story, sometimes they can get it, sometimes, right?
Yeah, for me, it's I was just trying to explain it, but it's I have to go in there. I have to go deep to explain it. And it's kind of wait, am I crossing the line? I shouldn't be touching that subject, but I'm teaching them that.
Look, we produced children's television, and some of the TV didn't work because we weren't reaching them. We thought we were reaching them, but we're thought from an adult mind.
Yeah, it's complex.
Yeah, kids' TV is interesting if you really look at it, because they just process so differently than we do, which is cool in some ways because they're so much more open.
Oh, some of them got it.
Yeah, really, it's amazing.
Yeah, other ones though, they're just freaked out staring at me. Not crying though, not crying. No.
So look, with you, There's a bunch of you out there. They're everywhere though, you know, they're all scattered. And so your social media needs to drive them into you. And that would make a freaking cool group. If you can get out there and spit your truths, you're gonna have people come to you.
Oh yeah.
People that are outcasts. You have an outcast kind of vibe, you know?
Yeah. You know, my dream was to sort of be like, kind of like the future Oprah, but not in that way, because she's not conservative, but, you know, a little bit more formal. And, you know, I feel like I want to be like a blend of her and Elvira and Dita.